One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
So today, former President Donald Trump is back on the trail in Battleground, Pennsylvania, fresh off his massive rally in Butler with Elon Musk, who's reportedly planning more appearances with the campaign. Pittsburgh-based columnist and Washington Examiner national political reporter Selena Zito spoke to Musk at the rally over the weekend about the stakes of this year's election. She joins us now with what she learned. Selena, you've been on top of this. You predicted the Trump rise back in 2016. I know Elon is registering people to vote in PA. What is the race looking like right now there?
So the race has been tight, obviously, if you look at the polling, but I think I would still give the edge to former President Trump in that he is making appearances along with Ohio Senator J.D. Vance in the areas that are most important, right? A lot of people focus on Pittsburgh and Philly and Pittsburgh, but honestly, the race is run in places like Cambria County and in Scranton and in Luzerne County and Erie and Northampton. And that's where you have physically seen them nonstop. And those are the counties that are going to decide this race. Pennsylvania has moved rightward, and I don't think a lot of people have known that incremental change.
So Musk said this in an interview. He said that he recognizes that the people here in Butler and in places all across the country not located in the center of power and wealth are the ones most concerned about protecting and preserving both free speech and the Second Amendment. And I guess my question is, when you...
Isn't it kind of odd that only a certain amount of people in this country want to protect the Second Amendment and free speech? What happened to the people who have been so brainwashed that they don't feel like they should protect free speech and the Second Amendment? How did the libnuts basically flip people to the point where they don't want to uphold the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, nor the Electoral College? I can probably wager an answer here. Our school systems are screwed. We have raised a legion of kids, thankfully not my grandkids, but a legion of kids who are in these colleges and they're nothing but indoctrinated. And the hypocriticalness of it, the irony is they're out there protesting. They're out there screaming river to the sea, not realizing that the First Amendment even gives them that right to do so. They're out there burning the American flag, not realizing, that First Amendment thing that you don't like, that gives you the right to do that. How stupid are you that you think you can just go up and deface a building or, write something on a statue or paint a crosswalk and arrest people who do wheelies or donuts across that rainbow crosswalk at the same time that you're telling other people they shouldn't have a First Amendment? You have to be a special kind of stupid, a very special kind of stupid, not to understand that.
Look at in the race right now.
Oh, it's the economy. It really is the economy.
Isn't it always the economy? Why are people surprised by that? It's not baby removal. Nope, not that. It's not Ukraine. Nope. It's always going to be the economy. So how could so many people possibly be voting against their own self-best interest? They pay mortgages. They pay rent. They buy groceries. They buy gas. And how could you possibly look at this woman and say, hey, yeah, I'd like to vote for Kamala? Fortunately, the wheels are starting to come off. Late, but they're coming off.
Have never gone down. Yes, inflation has gone down, but those costs that peaked at 9% are still there. They never moved, and they've still moved up incrementally at 2%, 3% since that high water mark. And voters are feeling that pinch, not just with their groceries, not just with gas, although that's gone down a little bit, but also in...
When she says went down a little bit, also understand it's gone down from the high. It's still way higher than it was.
Insurance cost and cost to build things, improve their homes. Everything is sort of at a standstill, and people are making choices they didn't think they'd have to expect to make because of how their pocketbook is being pinched.
One thing about...
All right, so let me set the stage for these next two videos. That first one was basically an appetizer for you, where you're starting to see a little bit, there's a fissures, there's some cracks in the Kamala army. It's really starting to, it's really starting to happen. So Mark Halpern here, who used to be on MSNBC, now he runs some consulting thing for Democrats. He's about to tell the Democrats, you're in trouble.
The vice president, that if you've studied her career, including her time in California as a senator, as a presidential candidate in 2019, the thing that people put their finger on is her lack of decisiveness. And we're going to see that.
I think we have a lot more than just her lack of decisiveness. How about her ability not to have any cognitive thought either?
And the clips we're about to show. That to me is her Achilles heel. That is the thing that bedevils her, because public speaking, she's not a stupid person. Public speaking on tough questions, even if they're not asked in a tough way, involves on your feet making decisions about what to say, and you don't want to annoy anybody or anger anybody.
Understand what he's saying. And you have to really, sometimes with these people when they talk in, esoterically, you have to really drill down. The stuff that he says that's her strong point versus the stuff that he says are her weak points. And now, less than 30 days away from the election, she can't fix the weak points. You don't change your personality and your characteristics in 30 days. It's very hard to change them at all. If I don't like Brussels sprouts, you're not going to make me like Brussels sprouts. And at this point, she is what she is. You're stuck with her. You're not going to change anybody's mind at this point. All they're trying to do is plug the holes in the dam, because as the more she opens her mouth, people are saying this woman's brain dead. Her policies are brain dead. And so now the widespread panic, as I said, is beginning to show, because now you can't change it. That's why she's begging at this point for another debate on Fox News. Trump, if you or anyone in your party or your camp there are listening, Do not do that debate on Fox News. Do not. Ignore it. I don't care if it's Jesse that calls you. Do not do the debate on Fox News. You have no reason to put her on stage and allow her to attack you. She is foundering. Don't do it. Whatever you do, don't do it. Even on X at this point. Well, maybe if Tucker, see if she'll do that. See if she'll do a debate on X with Elon and or Tucker moderating. Yeah, I'd like to see that. She'll never do it, so don't worry about anything. But definitely don't take it on Fox. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Or commit a political error. And her lack of decisiveness in her thinking and in where she wants to end up and then how she expresses it, to me, and I've said this before she was a candidate for president, when she was just quote unquote the vice president, this is her problem. And it's a problem that elected Democrats in Congress and the governors who support her fervently, they know that's her problem. They see it. They watch her speak in public, and they're gritting their teeth and holding their breath because most of them think, well, I could answer that question better than she can.
They didn't know that 60 days ago? They haven't been around her in Congress while she was a senator? They didn't know as vice president this woman was basically an airhead? Are they just now realizing it? Or are they just now ready to throw her under the bus?
I support her. I want her to win, but it's her lack of decisiveness. And as she has struggled, because she's not ahead, she's even or behind in the battleground states.
No, she's way behind.
As she has struggled, their frustration has grown more vocal. And we saw over the last day, Tammy Baldwin, senator in Wisconsin, her team putting out their polling data. We saw Elise Flotkin, the Senate candidate in Michigan, talking on a fundraising call about her concerns. You hear it from the camp of Governor Shapiro. You hear it from the camp of...
So these people don't want her around because they realize she's a drag on their reelection. Tammy Baldwin may lose simply because of Kamala Harris, so they don't want her around whatsoever.
Governor Cupper, all of them expressing concern and hoping for her to do better. And today was a day. We're talking about Harris a lot on this program for a couple reasons. Okay, we know what Trump is. We don't need to spend every episode talking about January 6th. We'll talk about it if people want to bring it up. What's happening?
No, nobody cares about January 6th. Just you nut job Democrats.
What's happening now with Kamala Harris is this is an experiment. Can you win a short campaign with an untested candidate?
Somebody finally said the truth out loud. This is an experiment. Can you really win a campaign, an untested campaign, by hiding her in the basement? They knew this going in. They knew going in that this was BS. They just wanted to see if they could pull it off. That was the only way she could possibly win, is if they hit her like they did Biden, but hit her even more and don't let her speak to anybody. He just said it. It was an experiment. Sometimes experiments go bad and the rat dies. I'm sorry. And right now we're seeing the rat or the mouse, whatever you want to say, keeling over inside of the cage. Y'all tried to run an experiment on the American people. His words, not mine. You didn't have a viable candidate. You had someone, hey, maybe we could make this work. Maybe we could see what happens. I'm not sure. Maybe she could win. After all, it is Trump. Maybe because it's Trump.
And what I'm telling you is happening in private polling is she's got a problem now. Okay? It's not cheering for Trump. It's not predicting Trump will win. She's got a problem. Please bring up the New York Times poll. So the new New York Times poll shows her up 3 nationally. We all know that 3 is like the bubble point, right? If she's up 3, she's got a chance to win the Electoral College, but they'd rather be at 4, and they don't want to be at 2. So 3 is right at the bubble. I'm not saying this Times poll is right. It's in line with other national polls.
If you guys are banking on the New York Times poll as giving you some barometer of the health of her campaign, then you're not that bright. I'm just going to call it.
Now, bring up 102. Wall Street Journal has a story about Democrats really worried about the 3 Rust Belt states. We all know from our contacts in both campaigns that Pennsylvania is tough for her right now. And without Pennsylvania...
That's a euphemism for she can't win it. That's why Trump's in Scranton earlier today and why he's in Reading tonight.
Pennsylvania, there are paths, but there aren't many. There's no path without Wisconsin. So you see here, Tammy Baldwin's Senate campaign poll shows Harris down 3 in Wisconsin. We all said yesterday.
You see why I keep saying it's over? Because even the internal polls that they're trying to embellish, they're seeing right now with less than 30 days to go. It's almost impossible to turn this around. Even if it's only 3, something would have to happen. They'd have to find Trump with pictures of midgets and, doing crazy stuff. Ain't gonna happen. Nothing that they have done is working. Every single thing they've thrown at this man has failed.
Wisconsin and Michigan are looking worse for Harris than before. Baldwin has her down 3. Not Baldwin has Harris down 3. Why is the Baldwin campaign sharing its polling with the Wall Street Journal? Good question. Sean, why would a campaign share their polling negative for their candidate? Because they want more visits? Is that the reason?
I mean, I think part of this is like a Hillary Clinton redux, which is that you want to make sure people understand what's going on. Plus, you're tied to it.
It's a Hail Mary. That's what it is. It's meant to tell all the lib nuts out there, hey, we're losing this unless you guys do something. Well, what do you want us to do? We're just supposed to vote for you. I mean, she's the one who's going out there and flubbing everything. She can't fix it.
Baldwin can't win if Kamala Harris loses.
She can. Yeah, she can. She can. I think.
Okay.
Can.
Well,
in a close race, she can.
Okay, maybe it's not a 5,000 vote squeaker, but I think part of this is to make sure that they understand this. But I will say this. Off topic, Alyssa Slotkin said the same thing last week in Michigan. Like, this is
correct.
About the other day.
All right, so he's right. So I don't know if you guys heard last week, Alyssa Slotkin, who didn't realize the microphone that was standing in front of her was on, and she said, my internal polls show that we're going to get our butt swamped here in Michigan. So you've got 2 people running for office who are supposed to be under the Democrat umbrella now ringing a bell and saying, hey, it ain't looking good.
Hey,
Correct.
They are sending.
I think that's the challenge for Democrats is the trend lines, right? I mean, if you just go back now for the last 3 to 4 weeks in Michigan and in Wisconsin, not that Harris was up, 7 and it went down to 4, down to 1. It's, it's gone from 3 to 2 to 1 to tied. And at the same time,
trend line. Most of you guys may understand, but what he's saying is when you're seeing this, if the line is basically down, you may have a bump, but the trend line is you're just falling off the cliff. That's not good for any candidate.
Those Senate candidates, Casey, Slotkin, and Baldwin, are seeing the same trend line.
All much closer.
Right.
By the way,
so you do it to sound the alarm bell. You are sounding the alarm bell in the party.
Yeah, Mark, Dan's right.
What I've been telling you. And there's 2 of these guys are Democrats. Sean Spicer used to be a press secretary for, I believe it was Trump or Bush. I'm not really sure. But in any event, they're sounding the alarm. Widespread panic. It's over. It's friggin' over. 30 days in, there's not much you can do. Not much at all.
But I could just little asterisk point. I don't want to go on this, but I think it was funny. A week ago, you had Chuck Schumer and the D-Trip kind of are the DSCC pivot and say we're going to bail on Montana and go after Texas and Florida on offense. And here they are 7 days later going, oh crap. I mean, I just get a kick out of this because after November 5th, we may look back and say, wow, that was a horrible mistake not to fortify the trenches.
And understand what he just said there. Right now you want to fortify the trenches and you want to get ready for basically the 2-minute drill. You can't win if you have no quarterback to drive the team. Trust me, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. Trust me, I'm a Notre Dame fan. I've seen it. If your guy can't do anything, you can't win. Luckily, the Miami Dolphins won last week. But they're like, 2-3 or whatever it is. Lead quarterback ain't there. Right now, the lead quarterback for the Democrats ain't in the game. Kamala Harris does not have the ability to come back. There's nothing for her to do but, think about it. Where's she going to go at this point? She's been on Howard Stern. She's been on The View. She's been on Colbert. And nothing's working. Where's she going to go next? I can't even imagine. She could have her own sitcom and basically go on Jimmy Kimmel, or it doesn't matter. You're not going to pull a rabbit out of your butt less than 30 days away from the end of the game.
I think that move by Schumer was all designed to prevent people from throwing the towel in at the DSCC and all shifting to the CCC.
I know.
And lobbyists switching just to Republicans. They have to pretend they can win the majority. They have to have a talking about.
Did you hear that? They have to pretend that they can win the majority. These two guys on either side of the Sean are Democrat operatives, and they're like pretty much letting everybody know, yeah, it's over.
A path to talk through. For you Harris people on here complaining that we're talking about problems in the Harris campaign, you're welcome to put your head in the sand about it. If you want to go watch MS.
Oh, white dudes from Harris. I don't know who these guys are on the Zoom call, but they're all freaking out going, what do you mean, man? It's all doom and gloom. What are you doing? And he's like, hey, you're welcome to go ahead and tell me what you think the path is here. How are you going to fix this?
NBC primetime and hear how great things are going for the Harris campaign. You're welcome to do that. But if you want to understand what's actually happening, we're here to tell you. I just saw some new private polling today that's very robust private polling. She's in a lot of trouble.
They're just finally realizing it. Now they're actually telling their compadres out there, oh, God, I don't know, what are we going to do? Oh, white dudes for Harris. Oh, my God. What do you mean she's in a lot of trouble? She's in a shitload of trouble, bro.
That's how I framed it this morning in my newsletter. The conversation I'm having with Trump people and Democrats with data are extremely bullish on Trump's chances in the last 48 hours. Extreme.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh this way, but I love seeing Democrat funerals like this. You know, the people I've been talking on the Trump thing, they're bullish. Bullish meaning the opposite of bearish. You're in a bull market, you're making money, you're putting more into the fund, you can see the win.
Extremely bullish. You think of the 7 battleground states. Which ones is Harris in danger of losing? I would say Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, North Carolina, and Georgia.
That's all of them. Except for Nevada. He's like, looks like she might lose all of them. You just heard it. This guy's on the inside of the Democrat Party. He used to work for MSNBC, and he's like, she's going to lose all of them except Nevada, maybe.
Not saying she'll lose all 6, but she's in danger. The only one that the Democrats say she's not in danger of losing is the one I never say the name of because I can't pronounce it. But it's where Las Vegas is, right? You guys agree with me? She could lose any of those 6, right? I mean, she could lose all 7, but...
Get your cigars ready. I'm telling you right now, get your cigars ready. Well, Barry, there's a long way to go. No, there's not a long way to go. It's only a short distance ago, and you're talking about the master finisher coming hard. I mean, he's coming hard.
Democrats will tell you they're worried about those 6. They're less worried about the 7th. Yeah. I don't know any Trump person who says they're worried about losing any of the 7. They don't know that they don't necessarily think they're the favorite in Michigan and Wisconsin, but they're not worried about losing it. Right. There's not. You don't hear from them, oh my goodness. What you hear is we're moving up. What the 3 of us are hearing, we're moving up in those 2. We're gonna win. We're gonna win the 3 Sunbelt states, and we're stronger in Pennsylvania than she is. That to me, if the whole thing's about the Electoral College, you take any of.
What do you mean if? Did y'all catch that? If the whole thing is about the Electoral College. No. It is about the Electoral College. I like to pause these videos because I like you to hear what people say. What do you mean if? Did something change? Did Congress go in and do something? It's no longer the Electoral College. Did Tim Walz get his way? What do you mean if? Because now you're saying if it's about the Electoral College, she's toast.
Any of the Rust Belt states away from her, it's very difficult for her to win. Very difficult. It's not mathematically impossible, but it probably won't happen if she loses any of them.
So, just so you know, she has to take everything. Basically, every battleground state, she's got to take it. What's the likelihood of that happening?
Now, she can replace Pennsylvania with either Georgia, North Carolina, and then one other of the Sunbelt states.
Nevada. Yep.
Well, any of them. If she wins, if she loses Pennsylvania, and she wins either Georgia or North Carolina, then she just needs one of the other 3. And that's not impossible. But what I'm telling you today is things are not moving right for her.
We have some news.
So you think that's bad? Okay. Now I want you to watch the funeral taking place on CNN. CNN gets some data. You know, CNN, the liberal network. They get some data and it's like, really? Is it really that bad? Should we start buying flowers?
CNN reporting today about what is going on behind the scenes inside the Harris campaign and more broadly among Democrats who are growing more and more anxious about a 2016 redux. CNN's Priscilla Alvarez joins.
The 2016 redux. When Hillary Clinton got her ass waxed. And they're seeing the same thing. The same numbers are appearing to them. And now they're saying, oh my God, it's getting ready to happen again. This guy's going to be president, isn't he? Yep. Yeah, he's going to be president. You got, 28 days left? Taking some weekends out there? What are you going to do in 28 days? How are you going to change her?
Me now, Priscilla, we were just joking here at the table that anxious Democrats happen on a day that ends in Y. But this is something that perhaps is warranted given the data that they're seeing. Explain your great reporting.
Yeah, look, that's exactly right, Dana. And this has been a campaign that was described by multiple Democrats, allies, aides, to the vice president as a good vibes campaign. But what
good vibes don't pay the rent. You can't buy groceries with good vibes.
It's also creeping in now is that anxiety. The reason for that is because these polls are not really moving. Despite multiple battleground blitzes, despite the opportunities she has had across media outlets, there is still not a lot of movement from voters who...
So let me interpret that. Nothing's working. We're throwing everything against the wall like spaghetti and nothing's sticking. We don't have anything else for her to do. What's she going to do? Go on a hunting trip and show people that she's pro-Second Amendment and shoot a deer? Well, I mean, she's going to go fishing so she can show people, I'm a real person, but don't put a shovel in my hand because I don't know how to use that thing. What's she going to do? Tampon Timmy? Trump is killing him. And they're all realizing right now, oh man, here it comes, 2016 all over again. Widespread panic.
Are moving more towards her versus former President Donald Trump. In fact, I had one source describe it to me this way, quote, people are nervous. They know the polls are tight. And a lot of us are having these flashbacks to 2016, too. We know when it can go the wrong way and it can still feel fresh.
So then you have to say, okay, why are they making all this information public? I'll tell you before Trump gets on stage, but let's finish this.
2016 is the key here. When I've talked to Harris campaign officials, it often comes up in conversation. Where did Hillary Clinton have her pitfalls? And where can they make up that ground and build on what Joe Biden did in 2020? One of those, to give you an example, is those red and rural districts. Look at...
Problem with that. Hillary Clinton, although we don't like her whatsoever, was a very polished politician. You know, we can call her all the problems that she is. Crooked Hillary and everything else. But you all have to admit she was a formidable opponent. She was an accomplished speaker. She could do things. Kamala Harris can't do any of the stuff that Hillary Clinton could do.
For example, Cambria County in Pennsylvania. Now, former President Donald Trump won in that county, but the former President Biden was able to gain some ground there more than Hillary Clinton.
Again, even Joe Biden, an accomplished, polished politician when his brain was working.
Had in 2016. The vice president has already visited twice. And so that is the type of strategy that they're trying to deploy to try to make up that ground where they saw Hillary Clinton wasn't able to in 2016. Then, too, there's the mobilizing. Talk to Democrats. They're always pretty boastful about their ground game, and they continue to be so, but that needs to turn into votes. So certainly some anxiety and nerves setting in as Election Day gets closer and those polls are just remain deadlocked.
Really important report.
They're not deadlocked. So what you just heard, my friends, was a prayer. You should just said amen. Just like the movie. When I hear a prayer, I say amen. Because what they just did was a prayer for the dead. And I took that from a movie with Danny DeVito called Other People's Money. Because in order for them to win, this thing's got to happen and that thing's got to happen, and it ain't going to happen. There's nothing left for you to do at this point. You want to put her in bluish, reddish counties and have her come across as the common person? It ain't going to happen either. Remember, just keep understanding. They're comparing it to 2016. And Hillary Clinton's mistake, if you will be, is that she just didn't even go to these others. I mean, I don't think she even went to Wisconsin. She blew it off, and even the Bill told her, you need to go to Wisconsin. No, I ain't going to Wisconsin. I don't need it. We got it. We got it in the bag. But you have to, you can look at Hillary Clinton. Every single one of you despise her probably, but you know she's articulate. She can make an argument. She can talk. Kamala, I'm sorry, you're done. And on top of all that, there doesn't seem to be anybody coming to the rescue. Hillary's not. Bill Clinton's not. Dementia Joe certainly ain't. Even Obama's talking about secondary elections. He's not even coming out to support her. So when Barry sits back and goes, man, I think this is over, this is the kind of stuff I see all day. This is what I start picking and start looking at these things. And so what was the reason for these Democrats to basically come out there and release the polls? Wonder if you guys know. The reason they're releasing these polls is because they don't have anything left. You are not going to convert anybody in 28 days. Right now, more than likely, there's no such thing as an independent. People have pretty much made up their mind, or they're very close to making up their mind. And converting someone to a Democrat, communist, Marxist is a lot harder than telling someone, I can make America great again. I can help you feed your family. I can help your business get better. You can always tell by the counterattacks both Trump and she do. How does Trump combat her? He says they're crazy. He makes fun of Tim. He makes fun of Kamala. What does she say? She says, well, he only talks about himself because she doesn't want you focusing on his message. 28 days out. 28 days, and as well, people in some areas have already begun to vote. There is no genie lamp that she can rub. She's not going to pull anything out of the barrel. She can't do it. In fact, her only option would be to throw Hail Marys. And as you guys know, when watching football, a Hail Mary means people are going to be rushing hard to come at you. She doesn't have the ability to dodge these different defensive ends coming to take her face off. She couldn't do a good interview on 60 Minutes. So bad that they had to alter the interview to try and make it look good. And before they could even air it on Sunday, we've all seen it. That's one of the reasons I'm going to talk to you tomorrow about Elon Musk, is because they can't keep up. Somehow those clips got out. The clips got out. We all saw it. Then we all saw the modifications. We see him cheating. And so there's no reason to even watch Sunday. It's already done. It's done. I don't need to tune in. I've seen it. I know what she did. I know what she said. I'm done. There's no suspense. What do you got next? What are you going to do next? You going to get there and juggle? What are you going to do? You can't twerk. Megan Thee Stallion didn't work. Oprah didn't work. There's nothing left in the bag to pull out. Now you just got to finish this the best way you can, and you're going up against a master marketer, a master showman, a master audience, what would you call it? Keeps the audience attention. When I show you the pictures and we flip over, this place is packed. I mean, there must be 15,000 people in here, and of course he's going to say there's a whole bunch of people outside as well. I'm seeing him at rallies in places he shouldn't be going. He's going to be in Coachella, California, and I'm probably sure there's going to be 100,000 people out there. It looks like somebody's coming up to the stage. It looks like Alina Habba. She may be the next speaker. Let's see. We'll jump in, and when she gets up to the stage, let's see what she's going to say. All right, Alina.
Hello, Reading, Pennsylvania. Is everybody ready to turn Pennsylvania red? It most certainly looks red to me right now. What a good group, you guys. We have seen the beautiful Kamala Harris for 1,400 days in the White House. And the woman cannot articulate for us what her policies are. And that's because she doesn't have any. No, I should take that back. She's now adopting my favorite president's policies. She is anti-fracking. She has not done well for our economy. She has opened our borders. She is soft on crime. And her cohort wants to put tampons in boys' bathrooms. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am a MAGA woman with babies, and that ain't happening. So where I come from, when you fail at your job for 1,400 days, you don't get another 1,460 days. And if you ever have any doubts about her position on her performance, her review on The View yesterday, she said she wouldn't change a damn thing. Yeah. Well, thank you for saying so, Kamala. But the American people decide who gets promoted. And you are not getting promoted. You are fired. Let's win. God bless you all. Let's get Trump in. Make sure you vote. MAGA, baby!
Somebody made a good point in the comment a couple comments ago, and that comment was, do you know where they're holding this rally? Reading. You know where the rally earlier was? Scranton. Do you know who was, I think he was born in Scranton? Do you know whose hometown area they're now promoting and doing rallies in? Dementia Joe. This is his area. This is where this man's Hardscrabble USA, this is where he grew up, this is where he made his bones, and they're basically coming in and infiltrating, his area. It's over. Just get your butts out there and vote. Don't worry about them trying to cheat, because there's enough people going to be watching this thing. So now we got this guy's a senator Senate candidate.
Hey, who's ready to retire Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and send Donald Trump back to the White House? And who is ready to fire that guy Bob Casey and send Chuck Schumer packing? Man, we got to do it, because this country's in trouble, right? You know it. You have sky-high prices that are killing working families because of the problems or the policies of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Bob Casey, who votes 98% of the time. You got a wide open border, murders coming across, fentanyl killing 4,000 Pennsylvanians last year. You got a war on fossil fuels. That's absolute madness, because we're blessed in this great Commonwealth with the 4th largest natural gas reserves in the world. And you got crime that's leaving our cities, going into the suburbs, sky-high murders, driven by fentanyl, driven by illegal immigration. We've got to get things turned around. And so this is the most important election of our lifetimes. It is a choice. It's a choice between strength, the strength of Donald Trump, and the weakness of Biden and Harris. It's a choice between common sense policies. It's common sense to get our economy back on track. It's common sense to secure our border. It's common sense to open up our energy. It's common sense to bring law and order. It's common sense to have peace through strength. It's common sense not to let biological men compete with women in our schools. And that's against a radical liberal agenda that's destroying our economy, destroying our borders, making us less safe. This is the most important election of our lifetime. And my race for the Senate is absolutely critical for Pennsylvania's future because we got to get rid of Bob Casey. He's a 30-year career politician. He's weak when we need strength, and he is a radical liberal that tries to be a moderate. We need to send him home. Send him home. We got to send him home. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is we got to win Pennsylvania because where Pennsylvania goes, the country goes, right? The country goes where Pennsylvania goes. And Pennsylvania's a wrestling state, right? Pennsylvania's a wrestling state. And my friends, we're going into the third period right now. And I always knew in college when I was wrestling that if I could go into the third period within a point or two, I was going to win. And the reason I'm going to win and the reason we're going to win is the third period's not about wrestling. It's about mental toughness. It's about heart. It's about staying on offense. It's about saving our country and making Pennsylvania great again. God bless you and thank you.
So he was talking about 3 periods in wrestling. I'm talking 4 quarters in football. Same thing. You finish strong. The person who's on top in wrestling most of the time is a guy who wants to finish strong. The team that's better nobody wants to slow down at the finish unless it's a heat, a trial. In the finals, you want to take it right through the tape, right through the final bell. Let's see who's walking out now. We got another speaker. They're coming out quickly. This one looks like it might be, yeah, it is, Vivek. Vivek Ramaswamy is heading to the stage. So we'll take him as soon as he gets on stage and he's done with the music. So let's hear him talk right now. Come on, Vivek, say something.
We're not running against Kamala Harris. We're not running against Joe Biden. We are running against a machine. And we need a commander-in-chief who will finally get in there and dismantle that machine. And that commander-in-chief is your next president, the 47th president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. If you want to seal the border, vote Trump. If you want to grow the economy, vote Trump. If you want to stay out of World War III, vote Trump. If you want to revive national pride in this country, vote Trump. If you want to make America great again, vote Trump. It is a 1776 moment in this country, my friends. We need our George Washington to cross the Delaware. When George Washington did it, they shot bullets at him then back then too. Donald Trump is the George Washington of our moment. And it's going to require every one of us to win the revolution this year at home. We are a nation in decline, but we don't have to be. Decline is a choice. We don't have to be at the end of ancient Rome. We don't have to be this nation in decline. We can still be a nation in our ascent. A nation whose best days, not in some fake politician way, but in a true way, a nation whose best days are still yet ahead of us. So we will look our kids in the eye and mean it when we tell them that no matter who you are or where your parents came from or what your skin color is, that you get ahead in the United States of America with your own hard work, your own commitment, your own dedication, and that you know what, you are free to speak your mind at every step of the way. That is the American dream. That is what we are running to. And that is what Donald Trump will revive as your next president. Thank you, Pennsylvania. God bless you and your families.
Yeah, I said that. Yep. Those were exact my words. I actually had it on the screen. It is our 1776. And then I corrected myself and said, actually, it's our 1773. 1773 is when we had the Boston Tea Party, when people basically said, had enough, man. That's it. We're over this. Over it. So right now, I think we're about 1773, and we need to tell all these people, we're done. We are absolutely done with this stuff. So, waiting to see who the next speaker is. Looks like, yep, here it comes. It might be Eric Trump. Not sure who this is. But as soon as I can get... oh, it's Stephen Miller. He brought out Stephen Miller in Pennsylvania. Be prepared for toes to get stepped on here, because Stephen Miller ain't going to hold anything back.
Hello, Reading! In 27 days, you can end the fraud, the corruption, the betrayal, the destruction of our country by ending the Biden-Harris administration and electing a true patriot, Donald J. Trump. Just think about what this man has endured to fight for each and every one of you. The lawfare, the persecution, the hoaxes, the attacks on himself, the attacks on his family. But did Donald Trump back down? Did Donald Trump waver? No. Did Donald Trump, God forbid, did he surrender? No, he fought. He fought with everything he had. He stared down one assassin. He stared down two assassins. He stared down hostile foreign governments. Donald Trump.
Over.
He stared down everything, the corrupt Democrat machine, everything, his corrupt enemies, everything the forces trying to destroy this country could throw at him. And he kept on fighting for you, for your wives, your husbands, your children, the people you love. And why? Because he believes that you're entitled to a secure border, a sovereign country, a country without crime, a country without chaos, a country without corruption, a country where FEMA prioritizes American citizens, not illegal aliens. A country that puts our children first, a country that puts our loved ones first, not foreign migrants and refugees and illegal aliens and trespassers and criminals, and a country that does not let illegal aliens hurt and murder and kill our people. And when he is elected, guess what? The criminal migrants are going home. He will send them back. So all I'm asking you to do, Pennsylvania, all I'm asking you to do is to stand with the man who has stood with you. Deliver Donald Trump back to the White House. Vote early, get your friends, get your colleagues, get everyone you know. Send in those ballots, because if Pennsylvania goes for Trump, Trump will be the 47th President of the United States of America. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Thank you.
If Kamala Harris is back home watching this somehow on television, or she's watching this YouTube channel or some other YouTube channel, right now she's probably cracking open that second bottle of wine. This crowd is smaller than Butler. They're indoors, but they sound louder than Butler. These people completely sound fired up, ready to go. And, you know, he's had Vivek, followed by Stephen Miller. Let's see who comes out next, unless it's actually him. Waiting, they got a blue curtain there, so I'm seeing who may come out. But this, man, understand, we got, over the next couple days, let me see if anything's been added since I ended my last show. All right, so Friday, day off tomorrow probably for travel since he's going out west. Friday, sold out show in Aurora, Colorado. Same day, Friday in the evening, Reno, Nevada rally. Saturday, Coachella, California rally. Sunday, Prescott Valley, Arizona rally. Then Monday and Tuesday off for now. And then Wednesday, he's with the Turning Point TPA Charlie Kirk's group in Duluth, Georgia. So this man is going to bring it. He is going to finish hard. And as I mentioned to you, in case you guys are new to it and didn't hear it, let me just go and show you. He's going to Madison Square Garden, October 27th. It is earlier. It was being planned. Now it is confirmed. Madison Square Garden on October 27th. So he's going to California. He's going to Reno, Nevada. He's going to Madison Square Garden. You think this guy's not finishing hard? He's coming for every single vote. And as these crowds continue to get bigger and bigger, can you imagine a sold-out audience in Madison Square Garden? What kind of message that's going to send? Can you imagine there being 100,000 people in a field in California? What kind of in her home state? Governor Newsom's home state, 100,000 people at that ranch? Man, this is going to get crazy, really crazy. Meanwhile, what's she going to do? She can't draw flies. They keep trying to fake her rallies. She gets up on stage, she can't speak. It's going to get ugly. It's time. Like I showed you the video earlier with the lady on the front lawn of somebody's house beating up a Trump sign. I thought it was staged. I'm like, is there really somebody rolling around on the ground beating up a Trump sign? Did she really stop her car or stop her walk and say, I'm just going to go ahead and roll around in the grass and beat up this sign? That's what she did. That's what she did. Oh. Yeah, Madison Square Garden final Trump rally, October 27th. I can't even comprehend what the security is going to be like in Madison Square Garden. Now, you know the cops are all for him, so he's going to have Rambo-style security. I'm not worried about his safety. I'm worried about what's going to go on outside, because they may just flood Times Square. It may look like New Year's in New York again. Think about that. It holds, I think the Garden, depending on what they block off for security, they might be able to get 16 or 17,000 in it. Here's what I imagine. See, I'll be the first one to tell you. I imagine there being 16 or 17,000 people inside Madison Square Garden, and then I imagine 100,000 people being in Times Square, and the rally being broadcast on all of those big screens. If you've never been to New York, during the New Year's Eve celebration, but just in Broadway, if you've never been down there, it is an amazing little place. It used to be before they did all this stuff with the newcomers, and in just lights and marquees and giant screens all over the place. I could see him saying, because I'm sure he knows a lot of people in Manhattan, here's what we're going to do. We're going to basically do this like New Year's Eve. We're going to block off all these streets. We're going to do everything we possibly can. We're going to put 100,000 people in here like we're dropping the ball, because we're dropping Kamala. And we're going to put 100,000 people in here. It's going to be on the big screens, and it's going to be massive. Remember, this guy's from New York. His family's from New York. He made his bones in New York. His business is from New York. He knows everybody. He knows every nook and cranny there. He knows the Mafuchis down, on Mulberry. I'm sure he knows a lot of guys in Chinatown. I'm sure he knows a lot of guys in Hell's Kitchen. The firefighters, the cops. This could be the biggest political rally in history in New York City, if it doesn't rain. But then again, people would probably stand out in the rain. October 27th, it's not really cold yet. Oh, Halloween weekend. Oh my God. I can see 100,000 people wearing Kamala masks or something. It could be nuts. I'm just spitballing here because of my event planning experience, and I'm like, I would blow this up. I would make this a spectacle right there where all the news studios are, right where MSNBC and CNN and CBS and ABC, they're all right there. Fox, it's right in front of all their offices. What a better way to give them the middle finger than to plan the biggest political rally in American history in friggin' Times Square. Now think about who you'd have to get permits from. I think there's a guy in New York City who they're trying to take down, who might just want to, he may just want to give the middle finger to the Biden administration. Eric Adams is the mayor. I could almost see Trump talking to Eric Adams and saying, "See what they did to you? You know they did to me too, right? You really want to stick it to these people? Get me the permits and let's get this thing done." Don't think that conversation won't happen. That would be my first call. I'd fly up and see him. "Hey, Eric, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to hold the biggest rally in political history right downtown in Times Square. I'm going to buy every single one of these billboards. I'm going to buy every single one of these big screens. I'm going to put speakers here, speakers there. We're going to set up a stage just do me a favor, Eric. Just make it New Year's Eve. Do everything you would normally do at New Year's Eve. Put a stage here, a stage there. I'll put RFK Jr. at 7 p.m. We'll have Vivek talking over here. We'll have the Elon Musk, Cybertruck stage where he's going to perform. Over there is going to be Lee Greenwood and Jason Aldean. Oh, don't get me started. I'm telling you, I could plan it. And everything's going on. The city of New York would love it. Could you imagine how much money they'd make? How much each one of those stores around Times Square would make? I'm spitballing, but I'm gone into I changed my hat and I'm putting on my promoter hat here, and I'm like, ooh, this could get massive. And if I'm thinking it, if I'm sitting here in Boca Raton, Florida, dodging a hurricane, and I'm thinking this, I'm pretty sure the guy who's walking out on stage right now has thought that. I'm pretty sure this man who knows New York like the back of his hand has said, let's show him. Let's show him. I'm the guy who wrote The Art of the Deal. I'm the guy who can show New Yorkers I can make it better for you. I lived what Frankie sang. I lived it. Frankie said, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And he did that. And I would contact ASCAP or whatever, and that would be the song I would be playing. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. So I'm going to let you see Trump walk out and kill the music very quick. All right, there. He's walking out on stage right now. But I just did that in like 5 minutes talking to you guys, because I know how this stuff works, man. I know how it works. I even know who I would call. I know what I would say. I know what deals to cut and who to... Look at that. If you're seeing that camera, wherever it was on stage, couldn't stay still. The ground was shaking around him. And he's dancing to the music up there. He's in his... If you think he's in his element in Reading, Pennsylvania, can you imagine what his element's going to be like and how pumped he'd be in Madison Square Garden? I'm sorry. I've gone off on something here, man. I'm going crazy here. It would definitely be 1773. And you can see his face all over Times Square. While he's talking, I'm going to hit mute and I'm going to pull up some of the stuff for those of you who have never seen Times Square and show you what I'm talking about. Man, he's loving it. He knows it. He knows I got 28 days. I got this. I definitely look at his face. His eyes are closed. I bet you this man is blessed. He knows he was given a second chance at life, and whew, man, the ground is shaking. The cameras are. I'm glad I got 2 different feeds ready to go, because I'm going to need them. All right, see here. Let's see what we got here. All right. Where is he? Come on, get up there. I'm pumped myself. I'm pumped watching him. All right, here we go. Reading, Pennsylvania. Look at the smile on this man's face. Take it, Don. Do it.
Well, a very, very big hello, Pennsylvania. We love Pennsylvania. And it's great to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. You are indeed. You are hardworking, proud. You love the.
Let me know how the volume is.
To save our country, we are going to save it from these lunatics. Before we begin, I want to send our prayers to the people of Florida getting hit just about now. In a little while, you're going to see a hurricane like we haven't seen in a long time, as well as all of the people still recovering from Hurricane Helene. So we have North Carolina that's been hit very hard, and this administration has not done a proper job at all. Terrible, terrible. Nobody's seen anything like it. But we just pray for everybody. We want them all to be good, and we're going to be there hopefully soon, and we're going to help them rebuild and get it all back together. And we hope that God will keep them safe. God will keep them safe. Just 27 days from now, we're going to win Pennsylvania. We're going to defeat Kamala Harris. And we are going to make America great again. And when we well, you know this, when we win, it will be, I believe, the greatest political victory in American history. I believe that. It will be the greatest. We had an incredible evening on Saturday in Butler, Pennsylvania. We love Butler. Butler's become a very famous place, celebrating the brave firefighter and fire chief. We love Corey, right? Who sacrificed his life in the attack 12 weeks ago. Just take a look at all of the incredible patriots. You have to see this to believe it. Over 100,000 people. Take a look at this. Thank you. Who is that man up there? I don't recognize him. Who is that? From the very beginning of this journey, I've been on a mission to rescue our nation from a failed and corrupt political establishment and to give you back the country you believe in, the country you were born in, and the country you deserve. You're going to get it back. We're all getting it back. In that mission, I will never quit, I will never bend, I will never break, and I will never, not ever, under any circumstances, even in the face of death, we will never give up. Never going to give up. We're going to turn it around. We're going to have the 4 greatest years we've ever had. I'm putting everything on the line to fight for you. I didn't have to be here. I could be in a beautiful beach. I could be in a gorgeous beach somewhere in the world. There's sun beaming down on this beautiful body in a bathing suit. The sun would be beaming down, the waves would be crashing into my face. Instead, I'm here with you in Pennsylvania, and I'd rather be doing that. And all I want is one thing. Because we're going to do this, you have to go out and vote. That's all I want. You don't even have to give us any money. That's a pretty good deal, right? Just vote. Vote for all of us. You're not voting for me, you're voting for all of us. We're going to save our country. It's being run by incompetent people that have no idea what the hell they're doing. Early voting is underway now, so when the polls open tomorrow, don't wait. Go immediately. Go as soon as you can. If you want, you go. Some people want to wait. They want to wait till that beautiful Tuesday, that day that's going to be the most important day in the history of our country, I believe. You know, I really believe that. I think we're going to win Pennsylvania. We're leading in all the polls. I shouldn't tell you that. I shouldn't tell you. I should say we're down one. We're down one. Get out of it. No, we're doing well in Pennsylvania. We're doing well in Michigan. We're doing well in Arizona, Nevada. We're doing well everywhere. We're doing well in places that a Republican hasn't won in years. We're doing well everywhere because people are looking at the people that are destroying our country and they say, we're not going to take it anymore. If we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing. It's over. Right? The whole thing. But really, nobody makes the case against lying Kamala Harris better than Kamala herself. Take a look.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
So think of that. So I heard that question when it was given, because I had to watch, because, you know, she doesn't do any interviews. She doesn't do any press conferences. She doesn't do them for one reason. She's not smart. She's not smart. Not smart. No, she doesn't do them. They're trying to shield. Last time they kept a man in the basement, and they had an excuse. They had a thing called COVID around. And we did great last year, I want to tell you. We did great in 2020. We did great in 2016, but we got millions more votes in 2020. Think about that one. So we have to make this too big to rig, right? Too big to rig. So Kamala just said that she can't think of one thing she'd do differently than crooked Joe Biden, right? So how about, I'll read off a little list to you. How about the following? She wouldn't do one thing. Remember that. What about the nation-wrecking border invasion, 21 million people? 21 million people plus came into our nation, and among them are murderers, drug dealers, people from mental institutions, human traffickers, mostly in women. How about that? She wouldn't do that differently? She went from the best border in the world to the worst border in the world. She went from, we had a border that was the best in U.S. history, and now we have the worst border anywhere in the world at any time. There's never been a border like this. What she's done and what he's done, what they have done to this country, the worst inflation in the history, costing a typical family almost $30,000. The inflation, she wouldn't do that over again either. Maybe the worst of all, and something that a lot of people don't hear about because look at all the fake news. That's a lot of fake news. I think this is the worst of all in a sense, and you'd almost say, how could it be worse? She lost 325,000 migrant children. Their parents are looking for them. Think of you with their parents. Think of you with their parents. 325, due to incompetence, due to the fact that she had the worst border, due to the fact that she let our great people not run the border. She got rid of all the things that we were doing. We had the safest border. We went from the safest to the worst. Those children are now dead, in slavery, or just plain missing. Probably most of them will never be found again. Think of that. 325,000 because of their incompetence. They're missing. Probably many of them are dead. Number 4, migrant flights, flying illegal migrants into our cities. Remember when she said, no, we want to, about a month ago, she realized this was not playing well for her in the polls. So they came up with a phony little idea that they'll do something. The only thing they didn't do, though, they didn't stop the flights that were pouring in with thousands and thousands, and actually over the course of a couple of years, hundreds of thousands of people flying over our borders. They didn't stop that. So they came from places all over the world into your cities and small towns, changing them forever, and I have to say, ruining them, ruining your cities and towns, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, people from mental institutions and insane asylums, human traffickers and women. How about number 5, the Afghanistan catastrophe, the most embarrassing event in the history of our country? She wouldn't do that again. You have to understand. She said, no, I'd leave it the way it is. We're just going over just a small list. That was the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. Probably Putin went into Ukraine because of it. He looked and he saw the gross incompetence of this president that can't speak. The October 7th attack on Israel would never have happened, but she said that was fine too because she didn't want to change. She actually said she didn't want to change anything. She'd leave it the way it is. So I said, let's make a list of just some of the bad things. This is just a small list. October 7th, where you take a look at what happened. She doesn't want to change that. The slaughter of a lot of people. The Ukraine disaster, millions of dead people because of the weakness of this administration. Putin never would have gone into Ukraine if I were president. It would never, ever have happened. How about the natural gas export ban that is crushing Pennsylvania right now? Most of you don't even know about that. You know, you hear fracking and all, but she will, but if she ever won this thing, you wouldn't be fracking for 24 hours. But how about that? And it's crushing Pennsylvania, hurting you. It's going on. It's on right now. Pushing, how about this? Pushing transgender ideology on minor children. How about that one? Your child goes to school and they take your child. It was a he and comes back a she. And they do this. And they do it. And often without parental consent. Can you even believe we're saying this? How about men playing in women's sports? How about that? She wouldn't say. How about the insane electric vehicle mandate where everybody's got to have an electric car almost immediately? They don't go far. They cost a lot more. And they're going to be made in China. And by the way, I think they're fantastic for a certain group of people that want them. And I'm not saying that because I'm a big fan of Elon, who endorsed us. You know that. He endorsed us. Elon's great. And he makes a great product. And it is. And there's a market for it. It's great. There are people that want it. And I think it's fantastic, actually. But you know what? Some people want gasoline. We have more gasoline. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country anywhere in the world. But I'll tell you, Elon was at Butler. You saw, he was having the time of his life. And I didn't even know we had it. He saw a black hat. You saw that. And it has, in a very subtle way, with black letters, "Make America Great Again." And I didn't even know we sold them. And he wore one. And you know, his imagination is rather good, like better maybe than anybody in the world. He sends up rockets. He has what he did with Starlink was so incredible for North Carolina and Georgia and Alabama. They said, "Sir, do you know Elon Musk?" I said, "Yeah, I happen to. He just endorsed us like the best endorsement you've ever heard." He said, "We're going to save America. If we don't, this country is ruined." But think of it. They said, "Do you know?" Because he has something called Starlink, and it's very hard to get. It's so popular. I said, "What do you need it for?" He said, "In North Carolina, we have absolutely no communications." Also, the governor of Georgia is doing an excellent job. They didn't have any communications in certain sections of Georgia. And I said, "Well, what do you want?" He said, "Could you get us like Starlink?" So I called up Elon. I said, "Elon, what the hell is Starlink?" He said, because North Carolina needs it for communication really badly, and it's very hard to get. And we talked for about a minute, and all of a sudden I'm getting messages, thank you, from North Carolina, from Georgia. Thank you very much. I'm still on the phone with him. I said, how the hell did you do that? He started sending it out, and we hadn't finished our conversation. So we're dealing on a different level with Elon. And it was great. It saved them. It saved them. Because all their wires were ripped out. And I asked the people, I said, so what's better? The wires all over the place when they were working or Starlink? He said, honestly, Starlink is better. He said, Starlink is better. So we thank Elon because he helped a lot of people, probably saved a lot of lives. And we thank him for the endorsement, right? We thank him for the endorsement. And I also want to tell you, he made that black hat we're selling. So what happened, I didn't even know we had it. It's selling like hotcakes. 10,000 hats were sold like in the last day and a half. But listen, more importantly, he calls it Dark MAGA. Dark MAGA. I said, that's the coolest name. That's the coolest name I've heard. And he likes it. He's wearing it all the time now. He's great. And one more 11, the worst hurricane response since Katrina. And she's on a fundraising comedy tour while people are stranded and drowning all over some of our greatest states. So as the floodwaters rose in North Carolina and Georgia and Alabama, Virginia, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, Kamala flew. By the way, do you think Biden could have done that? Do you think Kamala could have done it? No, Biden would have done better, I think. Biden would have done better. I think he's smarter than Kamala. You know, he's been reinvigorated. He's looking good compared to Kamala. No, he has been, right? Look, Mr. Wall, please stand up. Mr. Wall. You know, this guy's a wealthy guy. He does great, but he likes the rallies. It's been like 250. How about Front Row Joe? Stand up, will you, please? Thank you, guys. They got Front Row Joes all over the place. Unfortunately, most of them can't get a front row seat. It's one of those problems. Thank you very much for being. A lot of rallies, like 260-something rallies. And it's Uncle Sam, thank you very much, please. The great Uncle Sam. You know, I got to shake his hand. I have no idea who the hell he is. I got to shake his hand 2 weeks ago. He has the strongest handshake. I'm saying, man, that guy's strong. Thank you, Uncle Sam. You're great. Kamala flew to a fundraiser in San Francisco, a city she absolutely destroyed. She destroyed San Francisco. It was the best city in the country, and now it's not good at all. Well, families desperately tried to escape the rising floodwaters, and they climbed onto roofs. They did anything they can to live, but Kamala didn't send any helicopters to rescue them. And when people sent helicopters, they turned them back. And when, by the way, when Elon sent Starlink, originally they confiscated it, they took it. It took them a long time to get it over there, and it's a disgrace. And he doesn't want to say that, but I'll say it. It was disgraceful what they did. So she didn't send anything or anyone at all. Days passed, no help as men, women, and children drowned. North Carolina has 8 military bases, great bases. Fort Bragg, remember Fort Bragg? They changed the name. We won 2 wars, 2 world wars, actually, to be specific, from Fort Bragg. But they changed the name to, I'm not even going to say it. Let's just call it Fort Bragg. I think, what do you think? Has nothing to do with Pennsylvania, but the people of North Carolina would like to leave it as Fort Bragg. Can we do that? Yes? I think so. But they had rescue helicopters that could have easily be sent, and there was just no coordination. I'm not surprised because I've been dealing with them. There's nothing. But instead, Kamala recorded a podcast known for its graphic content. Can you believe it? She did nothing as people struggled and drowned, and day after day, no one came, and it's totally deficient. Fortunately, the private sector kicked in, and they're really helping and doing a good job, I will tell you. It took 6 days before Kamala and Joe sent a small number of troops to help, and despite all of this, Kamala Harris said she wouldn't do it. She's not going to do anything differently. So if you had your chance, would you do something differently? No, I'd keep it just the same. Think of the things I read, and that's a small portion of the incompetence. What they've done to our country is unthinkable. This November, the people of Pennsylvania have to tell Kamala Harris that we've had enough of you. You're an incompetent person. You're the worst vice president in the history of our country, acknowledged to be. Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. So her answer that she would do nothing different is disqualifying. Kamala Harris is grossly incompetent. She cannot be trusted, and she is totally ill-equipped to do the job of President of the United States of America. She's ill-equipped. Frankly, Joe Biden is ill-equipped also, but at least he got 14 million votes, right? He's also ill-equipped, but what are you going to do? And let me tell you, he may hate her more than he hates me. That's possible, right? What do you think? Dan, do you think so? I don't know. I think so. I believe, it's very interesting what's going on. You see the play now? They're fighting like cats and dogs, the two of them. I believe that he hates her perhaps more than he hates Trump. And I'm a little bit upset about that, actually. Our country just went through 4 years of incompetence, and we cannot handle 4 more years. We're not going to have 4 more years of it, nor will we have a woke military. We don't have a woke military. This is what we have. This is where we're going. Check it out.
So he's running basically a scene from Full Metal Jacket. We saw it earlier today. And it's an actual movie scene, and it's also got music attached to it that we're not allowed to show. But if you saw this video, it's kind of weird because he's poking fun at Transformers in the military and basically making the point that our military does not have to be populated and should not be populated with Transformers. That's not what made this country what it was. That's not who we are. And Biden and Harris have basically populated, as you know, populate the military. I'm laughing at the video because it's just crazy. And it's a good thing I don't show it because pretty much YouTube won't like him making fun of it. But hey, it is what it is, and he's poking fun of it. And the people can see how bad it looks. So he doesn't have to say anything. He could just sit there and let it play. Look at him. He's smiling because it's making such an impact. You don't want those people basically protecting you. What has happened to the United States military that we're allowing all this craziness in? And that's what he's pointing out to everyone in the audience, that whole 16,000 people, is that that's not what the American military is all about. That's not what we should be. And he wants to bring back basically men to the military.
Quite a difference. It's quite a difference, isn't it? We just have to have a little fun in these rather troubled times, don't we, huh? But there's a lot of truth to that when you see it. We had tough stuff today. It's a little bit different. But I'll tell you what, I know the military well. We defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. It was supposed to take 4 or 5 years. We have a great military, and they're not woke. Some of the stupid people up top are woke, but you could throw those military people into a woke room, scream at them for 2 years, they'd come out, they want to fight, okay? They are great. We have a great military. I saw it because, by the way, I'm the only president in 78 years that didn't start a war, but I finished wars. I finished wars. Remember when Crooked Hillary said, look at him, he's going to start a war. I said, no, I'm going to stop wars. I'm going to stop them. And I did 78 years. But I wiped out ISIS in very quick time. They said it was going to take 4 or 5 years. I did it in 1 month because our military is great. Just yesterday, it was reported that Kamala Harris brought in a totally unvetted refugee from Afghanistan who has now been arrested for plotting an ISIS terror attack on the United States during our election. This is the people we brought in. We've got thousands of them. This is one. Kamala completely abandoned her duty to law-abiding Americans and spent the last 4 years importing criminals, unvetted refugees, and terrorists into our country. As we speak, she has, and this was just announced last week, 13,099, so over 13,000 illegal, alien, convicted murderers roaming free in our country. Murderers that they're released from penitentiaries, prisons, and jails. You got 13,000 plus murderers in our country that were released from jails from all over the world. They come from the Congo. They come from all over the world, not just South America. They do come from South America, too. Do you know the crime rate, like in Venezuela, is way down because they've sent their criminals into the United States? In fact, I'll make you a deal. If we don't win, if this crazy, incompetent person gets in, next year, this same group is going to meet in Caracas, Venezuela, because it'll be much safer than your particular state. That's where we are. We're going to get these people out. We're going to deport them so rapidly. We're going to get the criminals, the murderers. And essentially, I will liberate Pennsylvania and our entire nation from this mass migrant invasion of murderers and child predators and gang members, terrorists, drug dealers, and thugs. What they have done to our country is unbelievable. We get up and we talk. And I noticed something. Somebody was telling me the other day, we do a lot of these beautiful rallies, and it's so great. We never have an empty seat, never have. Look at it, 100,000 people in Butler, more. Never have an empty. But they said, as you go on, you get angrier and angrier. It's true. Because I read this stuff with all of these people being allowed in to destroy our country. And by the end of my speech, I'm actually a little bit angrier. In some cases, a lot angrier. Because they're destroying our country. We will not allow these people to invade us or to conquer us. Do you see what they're doing in Colorado? They're taking over apartment buildings. They're taking over real estate. They become real estate developers from Venezuela. They have equipment that our military doesn't have. Where the hell did they get that equipment? And the governor of Colorado, who's a weak Democrat, radical left, he's beside himself. He said, oh, what do I do? What do I do? You get him the hell out of there. That's what you do. The Democrats brought him in. And you know what? Little cities and towns all over the country are being invaded. But the ones that aren't, they're just as scared because they know it's going to happen. Because we have hundreds of thousands of these people. And there's so many of them are criminal. And you know what? If I were the head of, I want to name countries, but they're all friends of mine in one way or the other. I know most of them, almost all of them. But if I were doing that, I would have done it even faster than them. In Venezuela, in many countries, they're emptying their prisons into our country. I would have had, because Venezuela has only gone about 50%. I would have had it down to 100%. Why wouldn't I? Do you know the money they save and the turmoil they save? when they take the criminal gangs from Caracas off the streets and they bus them into the United States and drop them? And do you think anything's going to happen that's going to be good with those people? No, it's not good. It's not good. This is not the American dream. I will save your communities. I will send home all of those who do not belong in our country, and I will keep radical Islamic terrorists out of our country. And also, Kamala is known as the taxing queen, the taxing queen. Her plan will raise taxes for typical American families by an estimated $3,000 a year. Take a look at this.
Joe Biden and I are about to get rid of that tax bill.
Calling for a full repeal of President Trump's tax cuts. If Kamala Harris was elected president, there are many different tax policies which could cripple the economy. But the first thing she wants to do is allow these Trump tax cuts to expire.
Even the New York Times admits that 85% of the middle class got a tax cut.
Americans will face a hike. The Tax Foundation finding that a couple with 2 kids making $165,000 a year would have to pay over $2,400 more in taxes.
And on day one, I will repeal that tax bill. Joe Biden and I are about to work to get rid of that tax cut. Joe and I are about to get rid of that tax bill. Joe Biden and I are about to get rid of that tax cut.
Everything from a 70 to 80% tax rate.
I think that's fantastic. We've got to increase the corporate tax rate. Part of that is going to be about repealing that tax bill that they just passed. And also looking at estate taxes are going to have to go up. We will tax capital gains.
But we're going to have to raise corporate taxes.
Taxing unrealized gains just doesn't seem fair in any sense of the word.
When the value of your home goes up, you pay higher taxes even if you don't sell your home.
Your value of your home never moves the way the stock moves to say, we're going to tax what you don't have. That's a sore point, and it's a big deal. Is that something you think she firmly believes in?
I think it's part of the proposals of the campaign.
Under my plan, there will also be a carbon fee. There has to be some connection between the fee and bad behaviors, and there has to be, in that we have to monitor whether it's going to be passed on to consumers. But I'm going to tell you that should never be the reason not to actually put a fee, and in particular, carbon fee.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up.
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up.
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Thank you. So I gave you, as you know, the largest tax cut in the history of our country, and I gave you the largest regulation cut for your companies that hired so many people. We had the best employment numbers in the history of our country. Everybody was working, whether they went to the best schools and colleges and got doctorates and all of the different, or whether they couldn't graduate from high school, men, women, the black community, the Hispanic community, the Asian community. Every single group, not one was left behind. And the best ones in terms of proportionately were low-income people. They did the best. And by the way, you have an invasion of people into our country, and not including gotaways, more than 21 million people. The gotaways, nobody has any idea how many there are. They are going to be attacking, and they already are, the black population jobs, the Hispanic population jobs, and they're attacking union jobs too. And they're all pouring in. So when you see the border, it's not just the crime, your jobs are being taken away too. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Kamala will deliver a 1929-style depression. I will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, and the greatest economy in the history of the world, which is what we gave you before. We will pass large tax cuts for workers, and we will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors. That's a big deal. Do we have any restaurant workers? Do we have any people that work in restaurants? No tax on tips. Remember they tried copying me? They gave it up. They gave it up. You know why? They got killed when they said it. Like a month later, she's going to, we're going to have no tax on tips. So they toyed with people with their education, right? With debt. And they said, oh, well, we're going to pay for your college education. We're going to pay. Never got it done. They won't get anything done. They can't get anything done. They never got it done. To bring jobs, factories, and wealth racing back to Pennsylvania, we will have a 15% made in America corporate tax rate, cutting the tax from 21 to 15, and I got it down to 21 from 39. But there is a but only for those who make their product in America, made in America. Right? One of the biggest guys, highly sophisticated guy, wealthy guy on Wall Street called me up. He said, who the hell gave you that idea? It's so simple, right? You're going to get that additional tax cut, but you have to have your product made in America. Isn't that great? They said, who gave you? That's like the paperclip. Somebody came up with the idea of a paperclip many years ago, and people saw it. They said, why didn't I think of that? But we're going to give a tax cut. You make your product here because that means jobs. It means a lot of things. It means a lot of great things. And we're going to stop Mexico and China and all these countries from hurting this country because they're hurting it. And they're killing the automobile industry. You're not going to have any cars manufactured here. If we win, this country will become the automobile manufacturing place. We will bring plants back at levels that haven't been seen for 50 years in this country. You know, right now the Chinese are building big factories, auto plants in Mexico. They think they're going to make cars and send them over to our border and put everybody in Detroit out of business, put everybody in South Carolina out of business. Not going to happen, because I'll put 100 or a 200% tariff. We don't want their cars. We want to make our cars here, and that includes in Pennsylvania. And for those who don't make their product in America, they will be forced to pay a rather stiff tariff for the privilege of competing with our cherished companies that we're going to take care of, and for the privilege of stealing our jobs, our treasure, and our wealth. They're going to do that. That's okay, but they're going to pay something for it, and it's going to be substantial. And we will take in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. And let me tell you, for 30 years, for 25 years, China didn't pay 10 cents to this country. And when I was president, they paid hundreds of billions of dollars. Hundreds of billions. Not 10 cents. They literally never, they went under the guise, we are a developing nation. Well, we're a developing nation too. We're like this, our nation's gone like this. We got to get it back up, and we're going to get it back up fast. But American citizens will use all that money. We're going to pay off debt. We're going to reduce your interest rates. We are going to, by the way, two things. When I was president, the interest rate was 2%. Now it's 10%, but it's not really 10% because you can't get any money at 10%. The American dream for young people is gone. They can't buy a house. You can't get any money. So it's not 10%. It's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15%. It was 2%. 5 years ago, we had 2%, and now we have not 10, probably 14 or 15 before you get it, but that puts you out of business. Tariffs against us. Remember this, one thing is going to happen, or another thing. Number one, they're going to drop all tariffs against us. We have countries that charge us 150 and 200%, and we charge them nothing. And I started it, and it was good. We were making a fortune, and then these idiots came in and they changed it. But we're going back to it. It's a pro-American, it's America first policy, if you don't mind. America first. We have America first. And I believe my pro-American trade policies are one of the major reasons why I've been overwhelmingly endorsed by the rank and file membership of the Teamsters. Never happened. It never happened. Including 65% of Teamster members in the great Commonwealth. By the way, never call it a state. That's a very bad, that's career threatening. I had a politician who's a friend of mine. He walked in and he started talking about the state. I said, oh, he's dead. He was dead. You can't do that. David would never do that, right? No, you can't do that. You got to be very careful. The only thing worse is when Biden would get up, remember, and he'd talk about he's in Idaho, and he'd say, it's great to be in Iowa. They'd say, no. But the worst was when he was in New Hampshire, and he said, it's great to be in Florida. That's palm trees. It's great. And you know, you could be Winston Churchill. He was a great orator, a great orator, one of the greats. And if you make that mistake, no matter how good you are, the speech is a total disaster. Do you agree? But we don't make mistakes like that. We need every one of those Teamsters to get out and vote. Do we have any of the Teamsters here? Do we have them here? Oh, look at that. Thank you, fellas. Appreciate it. We appreciate it. The migrants are coming after your jobs, but I don't think you're going to be worried. I think you're going to be, they'll be okay. I know, they're tough cookies. They're going to be all right. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it, really. Because it's jobs, you know? They may be union, they may be not union. It's jobs. We want to protect our jobs. I don't care which jobs. We're going to protect our jobs. We're not going to let these countries come in and steal our product and steal our companies, and all we're left with is one thing, unemployment. It's not happening, not going to happen. And it's a very simple thing to do. It's essentially what they do. But see, we can do it better because we have now this country. But if this country keeps going along the way it's going, we're not going to have that advantage anymore. So we're leading in every key national battleground, just about poll. We're just, as I was coming up here, Rasmussen, highly respected, one of the most accurate. They have us up by 2 points nationally, but don't be fooled. If we're up by 2, it's about like 10. You know why? Because people can't poll Trump. That's what happened with crooked Hillary. They thought they were going to win because they say to the people they call up, who are you voting for? A Trumper, like these guys. They love Trump. Who are you voting for? I'm voting for crooked Hillary Clinton, or I'm voting for lying Kamala Harris. I don't use the name Harris. You know, when you use the name Harris, nobody, like if I say, yeah, I'm up against Harris, they say, who the hell is Harris? No, nobody knows. You have to say Kamala. Look, all my political warriors over there. The insider advantage has just come out where we have nationally 3 points. We have in Pennsylvania a 3-point lead, which probably means 10. And a brand new Quinnipiac poll shows us leading in Michigan by 4 and in Wisconsin by 2. Oh, it's all good, but you got to get out. We cannot sit back. And we made a lot of progress over the last, you know, she had that little honeymoon period before she started talking. Once she started talking, I didn't know, was it that I did a good job or that she is just so bad? You know what? Who cares? I say, who cares? Pennsylvania also needs to defeat your disastrous, radical Democrat Senator, Bob Casey. And we want to elect the next senator from Pennsylvania, David. You know David McCormick, he's right here. David McCormick. And I'll tell you, I know him for a long time. He went to the best schools, he did that, he got great marks. I think that means something, you know, it does mean something. How did Biden do, by the way? How did Kamala do? Not too good. How did she do? Not too good, I will tell you right now. This guy was a great student. He was a great soldier. He was a great businessman. He's tough as hell. David, I know you just spoke. Just come here, say like for 2 seconds, because nobody wants to hear you right now. Just come up. But we got to get this guy in office. Come on,
Thank you, Mr. President. All right, it all comes down to the Keystone State, right here. Right here, Mr. President, we're going to put you back in the White House, right here in the Keystone State. We're going to win a majority in the Senate right here in the Keystone State. And we're going to save America right here in the Keystone State. Thank you.
He's really good, and he will be such a great senator. He'll be phenomenal. And, you know, I know Casey. You know, I was in Washington for 4 years. I don't know if I ever even met Casey. But he's been there a long time. He's boring. Nobody knows who the hell he is. Think of it. And he doesn't fight for you. He just votes the way the Democrats tell him to vote. This guy will be a leader, and he'll bring business back to your Commonwealth. Ooh, that was a close one. He's going to bring business back to the Commonwealth like you won't believe. He's going to be a great senator for a long time to come. And thank you very much for being here, David. Great job. We're also joined as well by warriors, members of Congress who are great friends of mine. They've become great friends. You know, when you're in war, we're at like a war because we have an enemy on the outside, maybe China, maybe, you know, honestly, if you have a smart president, they're always going to be fine. They're always going to be fine because they always need something, and they're always going to be fine. I have great relationships with a lot of these countries that nobody else can talk to. But we're always, like as an example, Ukraine never, ever would have happened. Israel never, ever would have happened. The October 7th would have never happened. You would have never had inflation. You wouldn't have had that disaster in Afghanistan, the most embarrassing moment in the country's life. But I became friendly with these people, and they're warriors. You have great ones here. Some places don't have them as good, I must be honest with you. I refuse to say who. But here you have great ones. Dan Muser. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Great job. Thank you for all the help. He did so many things. He helped us on right to try. You know what right to try is? It's such an important thing. We saved so many lives. He helped us so much. Lloyd Smucker. Lloyd, thank you very much. Great job. Been my friend. John Joyce. John, thank you. You're fantastic people. And Kat Kamek from Florida. Kat, thank you. Whoa. Wow. That's good. That's very good. Thank you very much, Kat. And you heard Vivek. How about Vivek? Great guy. We're gonna bring him in. I don't want to tell him yet exactly we're gonna pick the right, because I don't like talking. First, I like to win. We gotta win. Somebody said, "Oh, sir, who's gonna be Secretary of State?" I said, "Do me a favor. Let's win first, okay?" Vivek knows that, but he's gonna be a part of something that's gonna be really big. Thank you, Vivek. Great job. Thank you. You know, he started off as a rookie, and he did very well. He did very well. He wiped out a lot of guys that have done this stuff for a long time, didn't he? Very well. It's great. Great to have you. Great family, too. In 4 incredible years under the Trump administration, we've achieved more than any administration in the history of our country, actually. We passed record tax cuts and record regulation cuts. We achieved all-time low unemployment rates, record low poverty rates. We had the lowest, think of it, we had the best in terms of poverty, the best numbers you've ever had, and rising wages for everyone. Wages that rose at a level never seen before. We ended the NAFTA disaster, canceled the TPP, which would have taken all of your business out of Pennsylvania, withdrew from the ridiculous Paris Climate Accord. I want to call it the Pennsylvania Climate Accord, not the Paris Climate. No, they were ripping us off. We had to pay $1 trillion. Russia had to pay nothing. India had to pay nothing. China had to pay nothing. We had to pay $1 trillion. I said, so far the deal's not looking too good. I tell you what, as a business guy, you know, I went in and I looked at some of these deals. I said, who the hell negotiated these deals? There's some hanky-panky going on, I think. Of course, Biden got a lot of money from China, you know. They never say that. The fake news never talks about it. If that were me, I'd be excoriated. Remember I said at the debate, I said, let me ask you, how come The mayor of Moscow's wife paid this man $3.5 million. And Chris Wallace said, well, please don't ask him that question. 2 weeks later, it became a hot subject, you know? Don't ask him the question. And nobody really did ask him the question, right? I won the big case in Florida. He had a similar type of case, but the difference is I have Presidential Records Act. Mine was 100% fine. I won it. I beat deranged Jack Smith. He's a deranged individual. But Biden had a similar case, but he didn't have Presidential Records Act, right? And Biden was essentially convicted. Think of this. Here was the decision. He's incompetent, so he doesn't have to stand trial. So think of this. He's incompetent, so he doesn't have to stand trial, but he's allowed to be the president of the United States. Does that sound good? I don't think so. But I'll be honest with you. I honestly believe that he's more competent than Kamala. I believe that. I believe he's more competent. And I thought he looked really good today because we were comparing the two of them. And who looked better? He looked sharper than she did. Can you believe this? But I stood up to China like nobody has ever stood up before, bringing in billions and billions and billions of dollars. And remember, I said it before, nobody ever brought in 10 cents, not 10 cents. You check those records. We had the most secure border in U.S. history, fully rebuilt the United States military, and we created a new, beautiful, beautiful thing. I just love it, wrapped up, all perfect. It's called Space Force. Not since Air Force, 78 years before. Air Force, 78 years ago. We obliterated ISIS, and with the Abraham Accords, we made peace in the Middle East. We had the Abraham Accords. If Obama even thought about an idea like that, he would have gotten a Nobel Prize. With me, I say, don't waste your time. They're never giving it. They don't give me anything. All we do is produce. We produce. I just want to produce for you. I don't care about them. And I'm proud to be the first president in decades who started no new wars. That's very good. But those 4 incredible years of peace and prosperity, and that's what we have. I shake hands with people. Sir, it was so good when you were president, and I'm not doing well now, sir. I'm not doing well. They've been cut off with taxes and with regulations. It's horrible what they're doing. But they've been followed by 4 years of misery and failure under the worst president and vice president in American history. This is the worst president and vice president. This is the worst administration in the history of our country. The only one happy about it is Jimmy Carter, because Jimmy Carter is considered, and his administration is considered brilliant by comparison. Would you say that's true, Vivek, David? Yes? Now, Jimmy Carter had a brilliant administration by comparison, so he's quite happy. He's a pretty old guy. He's just turning 100 or just about, right? He's 100 years old. He's a nice man, actually, so he's a very nice man. But here are the facts. Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than Bernie Sanders, and even worse than Pocahontas. Do you know Pocahontas? Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren, remember? She said, I'm Indian. Everyone said, well, do you have any proof? No, my mother said that I had high cheekbones. That's what she said. That's what she said. So I came up with the name Pocahontas, and it drove her crazy, and so she went out and got a blood test, right? Remember what the number was? 1,024th. Oh, this guy's good. 1,024th. That means essentially that I have more Indian blood in me than she has, and I have none, unfortunately. I'd like to have some. I'd be honored to have some, but I have none. She thought it was so good that she had, 1,024th. It's like not even possible. It's not possible. And she was happy. She was so happy that she released the number. She thought it was good, and that was the end of her political career. She was leading in the presidential race back then. That was the Biden race. And you know where Kamala was? She had dropped out. She was dead last. She dropped out. She never made Iowa. And do I love Iowa? I love Iowa. I love corn. I love Iowa. Now, Iowa's great. We have a big lead in Iowa. Never lost in Iowa. We had a great, many years. What was it, 36 years? Nobody won Pennsylvania. And then Trump came along and we won Pennsylvania. And I'll tell you, there's more spirit now than I've ever seen. I'm talking about nationwide because we have another factor. You like me, and you know that I'm a very competent person. But you know how, thank you. I love you too. But thank you. But now you see how people can destroy our country. The president has tremendous power. A president has tremendous power. And you can make or break a country. If you're stupid, if you don't know what you're doing, look at the whole world is laughing at us. 5 years ago, we were respected. Your president was respected, and our country was respected. And Viktor Orban, one of the toughest leaders in the world, the strong people. The press hates him. They say, he's a tough leader. Well, sometimes you need a tough leader. But highly intelligent guy, very strong person from Hungary. He's the head of Hungary. And he made a statement. They said, why is it that the whole world is going crazy? The whole world. Remember me? I had no wars. I had no anything. We had no terrorists. We had no terror attacks. Everybody was happy. We had no terrorist attacks. But he said, why? They asked him, why is it? They said, because Trump's not president. If he becomes president, the whole world, and I don't use this word, I don't like the word for myself. I'm just saying the word he said. He said the whole world was afraid of him. China was afraid. Russia was afraid. Everybody was afraid. And I don't like that. I'd like to say respect. But I'm just saying what he said, because otherwise they'll say, these guys are so bad. A big part of our problem in this country are those people right back there. Big part of our problem. We need a free and fair press badly, desperately. I watched the way they asked questions of Kamala yesterday. Howard Stern, he's a weak guy. He's weak. He's going, what about, It was so ridiculous. Even she was embarrassed. It was like softball. But all of them. Howard, I knew him very well. I was on his show many times. I used to think he was good. Then I dropped him. And I dropped him like a dog. And his ratings are very challenged. Very challenged. But I watched the questions. I watched that stupid View where you have these really dumb people. Whoopi Goldberg said, would you participate in a movie? She made some movie on basketball. This was before I ran for politics. She said, you're so great. If you ever ran for president, you'd win. This is Whoopi Goldberg. You don't hear that? She said, I'm making a movie. Would you be in it? I said, in what capacity? Just a walk-on. You're so great. Would you do it? I did a walk-on for Whoopi Goldberg. Now she says, I refuse to mention his name. You know what? Politics can do strange things to demented people. Now, I've hired Whoopi to work for me as a comedian before this stuff, and a long time ago. And I went, and, I'm not particularly shy about what I hear. Her mouth was so foul. Every word out of her mouth was like the F word, this. I was with a group of people, like sort of nice people. And we had to leave. She was so filthy dirty, disgusting. Half the place left. I said I'd never hire her again. But she was so dirty. Every word was filthy dirty. And I left. And then I see her sitting about, Whoopi, what a loser she is. But I watched the way they ask questions. And it's like, they're on the same, they're partners in this crime that's being committed. Kamala, again, she was last in the primary. She was the first one to drop out of like 22 people. And now I'm running against it. Now, I don't mind. I have a feeling that if they left Joe in, by the time it's finished, because she's dropping like a rock now, because she's actually forced to speak. Because she's behind, She's forced to go on and she's speaking. And because she's speaking, people are realizing she's a dumb person. And we can't have another dumb president. We've had enough. Can't have it. No, the country can't take it. I don't want to be nasty. Somebody said to me, one of my people, a nice person, staff person, said, sir, please, don't call her dumb. The women won't like it. The women want to see our country come back. They don't care. The women are tougher than the men, right? I said, don't worry. I said, don't worry about the women. They'll be okay. They're going to be okay. You know what? They don't want millions of people coming through our border. They don't want militaries pushing us around. They don't want crime in the middle of our streets. They don't want hundreds of thousands of migrant criminals. They don't want them walking down Madison Avenue in New York and Fifth Avenue and the shops being emptied. They want to see a country that works. And we're going to have a country that works very, very soon. And the women are going to like Trump. I think they like me anyway. I think it's all bullshit, you know? They make it up. Thank you. Kamala was an original creator of defund the police. Okay, you know, she was one of the originals because she's a radical left person. Her father is a Marxist economist. I don't know what that means, a Marxist economist, they sort of, but a Marxist economist. I'd love to meet the father. Where's the father? I want to meet the father. I might like him. I mean, I like Barack Hussein Obama's brother very much. He endorsed me. And I like very much Tampon Tim's family. His family endorsed me. Tampon Tim. They endorsed me, the family of Tim. A terrible governor. The job he does is terrible. Anybody who wants to defund the police for even 1 week or 1 day is not worthy of being president of the United States, okay? Kamala Harris vowed to abolish ICE. She wants mass amnesty for illegals, which will bankrupt Medicare and Social Security. Do you know these people coming in, I believe they do it for the votes. They really want to get them on the voting rolls. The amazing thing is a poll came out the other day with Hispanics. First time ever. Trump is leading. Look at her, beautiful. Trump is leading. Never happened. I mean, I think stupid Mitt Romney was at like 4% or something. How about him? How do you like having him as a partner? Mitt Romney, what, are we glad we're getting him the hell out of here? But she wants to ban fracking. Her whole life, she talked about, we will ban fracking, we will ban fossil fuels. And now all of a sudden, a little while ago, she said, that's not working too good. I love fracking very much. You know why? Because of your Commonwealth. She's now going around saying, I love fracking. Oh, let me tell you, this ever happened. Day one, there's no fracking. And that's the end of Pennsylvania because it's the biggest factor in Pennsylvania. She imposed a natural gas export ban on Pennsylvania, which is killing you. It's currently in effect, by the way, just in case you don't know. She lost more than 325,000. I'm just giving you the same numbers that I gave you before with her answer. And the Attorney General, as Attorney General, she destroyed the state of California. As DA, she destroyed San Francisco, and now she wants to destroy the United States of America. When she was the Attorney General of California, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as non-violent crimes. She said, under no circumstances will they be prosecuted. She called them non-violent crimes. They're pretty violent. Look, she's a liberal. She's very liberal. She's not even liberal. She's remember I used to say, State of the Union, we will not be a socialist country. We will never, ever be a socialist country. And I was right. We're a communist country. They skipped socialism. No, I was right. They skipped socialism. They went to the next rung, communism. So I was right. We will never be a socialist country. Boom, they skipped it. So I was right. I like to be right. She pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. So I have the total endorsement of the NRA. You know, how many people in here own a gun? All of my congressmen are they're not sure what they, look at that. Dan, you know what to do. All of my congressmen, they're a little bit shy about that. But you know, she will confiscate your guns. She's going to take your guns away, just so you know. She sponsored a bill to impose a 100% ban on gas-powered automobiles. Congratulations. I'm sure you'll sell your automobile for a lot. That will be ended on day one, okay? Day one. Boom. I will sign that on day one. I'm going to sign a lot of things. My hand will be very sore from signing. I'll walk out, I'll say, man, that's a lot of signing, and I've signed a lot of things. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention. No, we're talking about major radical left stuff here. This is top of the line. It's true. Far left of Bernie Sanders. In fact, even Bernie Sanders said, you know what he said the other day? It's about time I put my foot down. We can't do this. He's complaining. Now Bernie is saying, well, I've got to put my foot down. This is too much. She is the worst, and perhaps most revealing of all, and it's the simplest of all. All for the last 3 years, I heard how she slaved over the French fry oven at McDonald's. I worked so hard. It was so hot, the heat. I'd get burns. Oh, look, it was a burn. I got a burn. I still have a scar. It was horrible. Only one problem. She never worked at McDonald's. It was a lie. You know, in one way, I hate that. It's sort of too simple. You know, the fake news will say, oh, it's such a simple... But they refused to report it. They reported that she worked there, but when it turned out to be a fake, they didn't want to talk about it because they're fake. Hence the term fake news. They're fake. No, they'll get back because they've almost lost all credibility now. You can hardly read the papers. You know, you only know a lot of people, like your accountants, your taxi drivers, you're a lot of different things, but you don't know, like when these guys deal, and they go up and they give them a story, and they know exactly what the story is, and they give them the correct stuff, and then they write it the exact opposite. A lot of people don't know that. They are truly corrupt people. They are corrupt, and they are the enemy of the people. They are the enemy of the people. And we know better than the others because we give them, right, John? We give them the information, and then they write it the opposite, and it's really disgusting. But here we are, we're leading for the presidency, so I don't know what the hell power they have. And yesterday, Tampon Tim said that they want to abolish the Electoral College, take away all electoral power from the voters of Pennsylvania. They want to add, in many cases, they're talking about many, they're thinking about, first time I heard this number, 25. They want to have 25 Supreme Court justices because it's the only way they're going to gain the power, they think. No, they have to wait their turn, you know. It could come back. But you know what? They want to have, it's the first time I've ever heard the number. It's got to be uneven. You know that, right? Got to be. So I figured they'd stop at maybe 11, maybe 13. No, that's an unlucky number. So 15 maybe. Yesterday, first time I heard 25. They want 25. Tampon Tim and Kamala Harris are a true threat to democracy. I'm not the threat to democracy. By the way, if I was, I wouldn't have taken a bullet to the ear. You know, I wouldn't have taken a bullet to the ear. They didn't. But with your vote this November, we are going to defeat these radical left country destroyers, and we are going to finish what we so brilliantly started. We had the greatest economy in history. On day one, I will seal the border, stop the migrant invasion, and we will begin the largest deportation operation in the history of our country. We have no choice. The illegal migrants coming into our country are taking the jobs of American citizens, the black and Hispanic communities in particular. I will end inflation, and we will make America affordable again. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to get the energy costs way down. I will fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no increases of age. How would you like to be? It's going to happen with them. Some nice guy worked hard. He's getting ready to reach that certain age, and they announced, so you're going to have to wait an extra 6 years. No, it's not going to happen. Not with me. And it didn't happen. Remember that. It didn't happen. It won't happen, Uncle Sam, I promise you. We will make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far, and we will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill. And I will cut your energy prices in half. 50% within 12 months of taking office. Get it down, 50%. We'll do it because we have so much. We don't even use our energy. We will terminate Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate so you're allowed to drive to Washington without 4 stops, okay? I'd prefer not stopping 4 times. I will stop outsourcing and turn the U.S. into a manufacturing superpower, especially with the car industry. They are going to love me in Michigan, and maybe that's why I'm leading in Michigan. I'm leading by a lot in Michigan. I think the car workers, I think the auto workers are going to love me maybe more than anybody else, because if I don't win, there will be no auto workers within 3 years. We won't make any cars. Working with Elon Musk, we will slash a record amount of government waste and fraud and abuse. And he's very good at that. And I will end the war with Ukraine while I'm president-elect. I won't even wait to get into office. I'll end it. Stop the chaos in the Middle East and prevent World War III, which is going to happen. World War III. We're closer to World War III than we have ever been. We've never been this close, and this will be a war like no other because it's nuclear power. And this is not 2 army tanks, as I say, going back and forth and shooting at each other, Uncle Sam, right? This is levels of power and carnage, and it's obliteration time, and we can't let that happen, and we won't have it. We will not have World War III. These people don't even talk. I saw where Biden hasn't spoken to Putin in, like years or something. You got to end that war. That war is ridiculous. We got to end that war, and I'll end it fast. I know both of them. I know Zelensky. I know Putin will get it ended. I will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. I totally rebuilt our military, and we gave $85 billion worth of it to the Taliban. Did you see that? There's another thing. We were going to get out with dignity and strength, but you got to take out the military last. He took out the military first. Not smart. A 5-year-old. Remember, I had the 5-year-old on stage. I gave him the stats. Would you do it first or last? Sure, I take out the military last. Thank you. Go back to your mom. Thank you. But Biden took it out first with Kamala's blessing. And we will build a missile defense shield, all made in the USA, and a lot of it made in Pennsylvania. We're entitled to it. It's our technology. Why aren't we doing it? All made right here. Jobs, jobs, jobs. We will lead the world in space and reach Mars before the end of my term. We're going to reach. I said to Elon, is that doable? Absolutely. He loves rockets, that guy, man. Never seen a guy that likes rockets so much. First time I got a glimpse, I said, who did that? Remember when the rocket engines came down? They have no wings, no nothing. I said, what the hell is that? I'm looking. It wasn't a missile. It was just a round tube. And it came down. It landed right on a barge, a circle, 4 of them or 3 of them. Came right down, landed right on a circle from space. I said, who the hell did that? It was Elon Musk. I called him. I said, what's that all about? He said, well, engines are very, very expensive. So if we could save them. And through certain this and that, we were able to do it. And it's so incredible. They can use them again and again and again. How smart. How smart. And he said we can do that. We'll be in Mars before the end of our term. And a lot of it also, though, does have to do with the military, because we don't want to just send rockets up. I mean, the military, it's going to be a very important factor. Space Force is turning out to be a very big deal, because a lot of the military is going to be surveillance and everything will be having to do with space. And we're now, we were being obliterated when I took office by China and by Russia in space. We are now leading by a lot. I put a guy in there who's done a phenomenal job, but Space Force has been a fantastic thing and a very important thing. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., which is so embarrassing. It's got graffiti all over the marble. It's got potholes all over the road. We're going to fix our capital and make it beautiful, and we're going to be proud of it again. And our cities will be clean and safe and beautiful. We're not going to have crime. We're going to stop the crime. We're going to let the police do their job. I will support universal school choice, which is a big deal for people. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we will keep men out of women's sports. I will defend the Second Amendment as I have done for 4 years, and it wasn't easy. Protect religious liberty, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections like they have never been secured before. We want voter ID. Did you see in California, Gavin Newsom? Listen to this. He passed a bill, he signed a bill, that nobody is even allowed to ask anybody for voter ID. If they ask, it's a criminal act or something. So there will be no voter ID. Now, there's only one reason they want that, to cheat. But think of this, he took it a step further, Gavin Newsom. He has destroyed California. And for me, it's hard to say these things because I have property in California. I have a lot of property in California, and I hurt myself. But what I'm doing now is much more important than my properties. It's really much more important. Every time I say that, what a rotten job he's doing, I say, well, that's going to cost me a lot of money every time, but it doesn't matter to me. If it did, I wouldn't be doing this right now, right? I wouldn't be doing. But under our administration, and by the way, how good did J.D. Vance do the other night? Right? Good people, good people. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris. Should be easy, should be very easy. And stop her radical left agenda once and for all. You have to get out and vote. We're going to make this a landslide. We want to make it a real referendum. We want to make it something where you go and you say, we have the right to stop crime in our cities. We want to make it big. And we want to make it so that they can't cheat, and if you win by a lot, they can't cheat. They can only cheat so much, and they are cheating dogs, I will tell you that. Early voting in Pennsylvania is underway. What the hell are you doing sitting here? Go. So get everyone you know. Thank you, Uncle Sam. Look at that. He's the greatest. I love Uncle Sam. Look at him. Thank you, Uncle Sam. Thank you. He's the greatest, that guy. I don't know who the hell he is. He goes to a lot of rallies. Mr. Wald, I don't know, but he's great, actually. So get everyone you know and go vote. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. I believe that. I also believe that if we don't do this, I don't think it'll ever happen. I think our country is going to be destroyed. They're destroying our country. You will have 200 million people come in from all over the world, including prisons and mental institutions. With your help from now until Election Day, we will redeem America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we love. We love this nation. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. You know who's going to do that? RFK Jr. He's got some good ideas. We love RFK Jr., don't we, Vivek? Between the two of these guys, we will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. God bless you. God bless you, Pennsylvania. Get out and vote. Thank you. Thank you, fellas.
All right. In a fired up rally, he just wrapped up. Looks like it's almost 9 o'clock. He came on after a bunch of speakers. So again, he did about a 90-minute rally. And this one was pumped. Absolutely pumped. The entire crowd in Reading, Pennsylvania, right in basically hardscrabble USA, right there between. This is Joe Biden country. This is Joe Biden country. And Trump showed up and doing a dance. This guy's pumped. He knows. He absolutely knows he's got this. Not going to rehash it. Go watch the earlier part of the video. He's got 28 days to go. And just to let you know, well, I'll save that until he gets off stage. While he's going off stage, I can bring you an update. The hurricane made landfall outside of Sarasota and Siesta Key. It made landfall as a 3 at about 125 miles an hour. I'm not going to euphemize it, but if that is 125, then that's not bad. Now, it has spurned some tornadoes. I'm going to show you some video as soon as Trump gets off the stage. It looks like, okay, he's done. It looks like we're going to get a one band, and this one band is going to come back around at about, looks like about 10:30. Check this out. This is in a neighborhood called Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. This isn't from the hurricane. This is from a tornado. A tornado hit in this area in Palm Beach Gardens. Palm Beach Gardens is about 15 miles north of West Palm Beach, a little bit out west, and a tornado did this isolated damage. Pretty strong tornado, threw cars around. They got some damage, but looks like most of the structures are in place. But yeah, that's what these things can just spawn out, these tornadoes. So, you know, these people look like their homes are pretty much intact. They're going to have to, I don't see anybody losing a roof or, you know, not a lot of debris, but they're pretty much going to be okay. That area of Palm Beach, they're going to be insured. Hopefully nobody was in those cars, but that's going to be okay. Another note I want to tell you about. Many of you guys know that I have I'm a Dolphins fan. I used to have a Dolphins channel. Well, Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback who's injured right now, and his wife have come out and supported Donald Trump, which I kind of knew that was what it was, but you know, I was hard on Tua when I was doing my football stuff. I'm still not sold on him as a quarterback, but I am 100% sold on him as a man. I used to tell everybody, I got no problems with the guy, I just have a problem with the quarterback. And so now he and his lovely wife are coming out as Trump supporters, which is freaking out people all over the place, as usual. The other bit of breaking news, and it is breaking, as I told you, Kamala's trying to finagle her way into another debate. And she got Fox News to come out and say, hey, can you see if you can get him? Well, Trump kind of put the poo-poo on that. This is what he posted. I don't know when he posted because he's been on stage. Must have been before he went on stage. I won the last two debates, one with Crooked Joe, the other one with Lying Kamala. I accepted the Fox News invitation to debate Kamala on September 4th. Remember that. He said, I'm in. Let's go ahead and do it. but she turned it down. J.D. Vance easily won his debate with tampon Tim Walz, who called himself a knucklehead. I am also leading in the polls, with the lead getting bigger by the day and leading in all the swing states. Where'd I go? The first thing a prize fighter does when he loses a fight is say that he demands a rematch. It is very late in the process. Voting has already begun. There will be no rematch. Besides, Kamala stated clearly yesterday that she would not do anything different than Joe Biden. So, there is nothing to debate. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald J. Trump. Told you that was coming. Told you that this afternoon. I mean, there's no reason for him to debate. He's moving forward. He's going to close it out, and he's going to win this thing. Absolutely going to win it. So I don't know what she's going to do. Donald Trump is afraid to debate me. You expect to hear that in the media for like the next 48 hours. Donald Trump's afraid. He's afraid of Kamala. Yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. By the way, I was talking to you guys about Times Square. If you've never been to Times Square, I figure most of you have been, but this is what Times Square looks like at night. And Robin and I have stayed in the lower right. You can see the TREE DoubleTree, the DoubleTree Suites. That's where we always stay when we're in New York. And this place is just lit up. All these billboards, all these signs. You see screens everywhere. If I were Trump, I would buy out every single one of those screens. The entire thing. Turn it into, basically New Year's Eve with him. And so this picture is facing, I forget which direction, I guess that would be north. South of this picture is where the big murals and screens are, but the entirety of Times Square looks pretty much like that. So you've got all kinds of big, giant LED boards and screens and speakers and everything else. That would be incredible. That would, to me, if that's your last rally, which it will be, that's going to be his last rally ever. He's not running again either way after this. So October 27th is the last time Donald Trump will hold a political rally. And so I would try, if I were him, to blow this out, make it the biggest thing ever. Just make it one huge party in New York City as you're saluting the election. Go out big. Make every one of those news studios, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, make them all cover it, just like they would have to do for New Year's Eve. Make sure all of them are there, and just rub it in their face. Look, there's 200,000 people here. Trust me, if he did that and he got the rights and permission to do something in Madison Square Garden, which he's doing, but if he also got the rights to do something in the streets, you're going to get people from Long Island. You're going to get people from the Bronx. You're going to get people from Jersey. There will easily be 100 to 200,000 people in those streets. And the optics alone, I hope someone in the Trump camp is hearing this. Do it. Contact Eric Adams. Get the permits and make this thing. I may fly up for it. I mean, that's my hotel right there. Right there. Robin listening, she's probably already dialing. October 27th, book it. Book the suite. I love it. Love this area. Used to. Right there where my mouse is, October 27th, lower right, that's a DoubleTree. So, kind of hard to sleep there, though, because you got to make sure you close the blinds, because all those lights, whew, man, it's crazy. And then across the street from the hotel, not that I'm telling you all this stuff, it's fun, but there's a Jewish deli on the corner. Oh my God, you can't finish a sandwich. The sandwich is stacked like that, huh? It's like that big, giant sandwiches. And back then when I used to eat it, big, giant slices of cheesecake. Drooling already. Do it. Maybe I have to book the suite for that weekend. So, that's all I got tonight. We're going to go ahead and put him on a big screen. Absolutely. The streets are scary now. Have to get some get some security. Rambo. The New York Police Department would make that thing so safe you don't even know. They chase all the newcomers and the stragglers away. It'd be perfect. I'm getting hungry, man. I'm serious. I forget the name of the deli, but the sandwiches literally are that big, that thick. You can't finish it. Pastrami, whatever you want. You can get a pastrami. You can get, all kinds of different things. Red and blue lightning here in Tampa. All right, you stay safe over there. I'm gonna get out of here because we're expecting a band, and I don't want it to go blip and cut me off or anything. But I want to see Trump in. I want to see him take over New York City. I think it would be phenomenal. All right, tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. He didn't have any events, and of course he didn't put this on his schedule, but 1:30 p.m. he's talking with the Detroit, Michigan Economic Club. So obviously he's going to be talking about automotive stuff right there in Detroit, hitting Michigan again. So it's right now he's in Reading, Pennsylvania, going to go off stage, probably have some dinner, whatever, get on the Big Bird, and then fly over to Detroit. So the man's moving. Kamala, I don't know what she's doing. And you know what else? I don't care. It's over. Count it. Make sure you vote, but it's over. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you for joining. I know. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Don't go nowhere. I almost forgot. I almost got myself in trouble last time. People were like, hey, you didn't read off the super chats. And I surely didn't. It was my fault. I completely vegged on that. Almost hit the button to disconnect again so I could get out of here from the storm. And, it's going to be quick. Well, I thought, scrolling. Okay, not so quick. All right, so where are we? Let's go ahead and read these off. Big Cat, brother, thank you. Barry must pray and pray for Trump. Every night, every day. Ray Smith, hello, Barry. I apologize. Dropped my super chat yesterday. Back now and happy to hear that Trump is winning. I enjoy watching you and laughing. Thank you very much. No need to ever apologize. Lelouch lives. Regardless of election outcome, I'd like to see an audit of all 50 states and the cheating once and for all. Democrats will never stop cheating. Why is that? Because their policies don't make sense, and if they can't cheat, there's no Democrat Party. Donna, thank you. I don't get it. What's up with Nevada and Arizona, Las Vegas, Reno, throughout the state? Tips, and then Arizona, major border crisis. Why wouldn't they want Trump? I gotta believe they would. I have to believe they would. Captain's log. Back to 2016, 2020, when prices lowered and the stock market repeatedly hit all-time records. The good vibes and joy party. Stay safe. Absolutely. Norma Aludis, thank you. Devanon Salick, Gettenberry, thank you. Penny Quarter, thank you very much. Mark O. Reality. Internet north of Tampa just got knocked out. Fudge. Okay. Like I said, I looked at the map of what's going to happen here. It's moving very, very fast. And so the only thing we're going to get, I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me put it on screen. But it's moving fast, and we have one trailing, I don't know if you can see it. Okay. We have one trailing thing that's going to come by at 10:30. You see that long band that basically stretches all the way down from the red into basically the Keys? We're going to get smacked with that just at about 10:30. So we're going to get ready for that. Larry, Trump should really arrange to drop that New Year's Eve ball during his speech to represent a new year, a new future. That's a great idea. Drop the ball. Create a new one. Basically instead of the 2025 ball, just have a big thing coming down saying Trump. That would work for me. Kathleen Gray, thank you. Barbara Farley, have a ball drop. Yeah, everybody else says have a ball drop. Carolyn Wilford, thank you. Roderick Thames, thank you very much. Roderick Thames again. The seating capacity of Madison Square Garden varies by event type. Boxing is almost 21,000, concerts 20, basketball 19, pro wrestling 18. So I think depending on what he has to block off backstage, he'll put 17 or 18,000 people in there, no doubt. Larry, Ron DeSantis brought in over 50,000 linemen on standby now from all over the country to get our power back up and running. Do you know where a bunch of those linemen stayed? A bunch of those linemen were stationed down here in Miami at Trump's hotel. Now, didn't get a lot of coverage. People didn't know that. There's some pictures on X. You might want to go check them out. Put in Lyman Trump Hotel. He doesn't say stuff like that. He doesn't brag about it. Just, hey, guys, go stay in my hotel. I got you. I'll see if I can find that picture. Jamie Barnard, thank you. Hancock, New York, loves Trump. Fight X3, win, win, win. And thank you, Barry, for all you do. God bless. Stay safe. Yeah, look, thank you all very much. Let me see if I can find that lineman at his hotel, because it's pretty awesome. Nobody talks about it. Lineman hotel. Let's see if it shows up. You can see this quick video. Oh, first one that came up. And this is kind of stuff why I jump on X. No one's going to show you this at the news. They're not. It says President Trump is giving away free rooms at the Trump Doral Hotel to the linemen getting ready to help the people of Florida during the hurricane. And there they all are in the lobby right there getting their free rooms. News won't cover that. You know, Trump's really bad. He's a bad guy. And as far as I'm looking, you know, I'm seeing a bunch of... he's letting black guys in his hotel. I mean, what kind of a racist does that? You know, it's crazy. Here, check out this video real quick here. Somebody's like, it's all, the left is falling apart. Look at this. While Kamala Harris is crying about Ron DeSantis not answering her call, President Trump is doing things on his own. 275 linemen, devastation cleanup crews, and helpers are staying at his hotel for free. The left is falling apart. And let me just restart this so you guys can see. So all these guys here are in the lobby. They're getting the keys to their room, showing up. Look at, handing out keys. There's your key. There's your room key. Everybody gets a room. Everybody gets a room. You get a room. You get a room at the Trump Hotel. Some of these guys will never forget this, that they get to stay at the Trump Hotel. So they can say whatever they want. I don't really care. I know what the guy does. I live here in Florida. I see it all the time. And I know that he does things for people and doesn't even say. Unless somebody had their cell phone here, you'd never know. Never know. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Actually, thank you for tuning in to both shows. And we'll see you tomorrow at 1.